Coming up on Cedar Valley today, we'll give you some need-to-know information on the upcoming Iowa caucuses. And presidential candidate Carly Fiorina pays a visit to Wartburg's campus. And find out some tips to keep your homes warm in the cold winter months. This is Cedar Valley Today. With caucuses just around the corner, we have all the information you need to know. Hello and welcome to Cedar Valley Today. I'm Kaylin Thompson. Let's go right to Christina Alexander to talk more about the caucuses.
Thank you, Kaylin. With the Iowa caucuses just about a week away, a question on a lot of minds is, what exactly is a caucus?
Iowa is famous for voting for president first in the nation, but being first has its drawbacks. Caucuses are often very difficult to understand, so we have a breakdown for you. The Iowa caucuses date back to 1972. It is what is called a closed primary, meaning you need to be a registered Republican or Democrat in order to vote. There are two different caucuses, the Democratic and the Republican, and they work quite differently. To participate in the Democratic caucus, you need to be a registered Democrat. But if you are not, fear not, because you can register right at the caucus location. If you're an out-of-state college student, you can register to caucus at the location or vote in your home state. You're eligible to vote if you're 18 years of age or will be 18 by the November 2016 election. Doors at all the satellite locations open at 6:30 and you have to be in line by 7 p.m. You need to bring with you a valid driver's license and a document that contains your current address. The presidential nominee selection is one of the first items on the agenda, followed by delegation and committee selections. Participating in the Republican caucus is by far easier than in the Democratic one. It is carried out by a paper ballot, and when the ballots are cast, they are collected and counted.
And it has just been announced that CNN is holding a Democratic town hall next Monday at Drake University. For more information on anything election-related, including caucus locations, visit the Iowa Secretary of State website.
Republican presidential hopeful Carly Fiorina visited Wartburg campus to gain more Iowa support before the caucus. Fiorina is trailing among the Republicans with 2% support in the most recent Des Moines Register Bloomberg Politics poll. The former HP CEO says Americans need to elect a citizen leader who knows how the economy works. She also says how giving more money and power to the federal government in Washington, D.C. isn't solving the education problem. Fiorina proposes giving money to states, communities, and families in order to improve education.
Parents don't have choices, kids don't have chances. So here's what I believe you need to do. Give every single parent a real choice, which means they have to have the resources and the accountability to choose how their children will be educated.
The Iowa caucus will be on Monday, February 1st. You can check out Cedar Valley Today's Facebook page for caucus locations. And before that caucus date, Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders is making strong headway in Iowa. Sanders is making stops all across the state, and while he is in Iowa, Bernie has discussed his stance on popular topics such as climate change, college education, and income inequality. His popularity among Iowa voters continues to rise.
We began this campaign about 9 months ago, and when we began, we were 50 points behind. We were 50 points behind the inevitable Democratic nominee. Well, guess what? That inevitable candidate ain't so inevitable today.
Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton leads Sanders by just 2 points in the most recent Des Moines Register Bloomberg Politics poll. And after the break, a new South American virus is creating problems for pregnant women. Stay with us.
Connecting you and me and the world, we believe till it is.
The citizens of Flint, Michigan are receiving some words of encouragement from their governor. But because of the current lead water crisis, the people of Flint are actually filing a class action lawsuit against that governor. Michigan Governor Rick Snyder gave his promise to help his state in the state address yesterday. He says he will increase support from the Michigan National Guard and promised to continue delivering water filters until everyone's water is clean.
I know there will be long-term consequences, but I want you to know that we'll be there with long-term solutions for as long as it takes to make this right.
The people of Flint are currently relying on water filters and bottled water until they can be sure that their water is safe. The CDC is recommending some pregnant women should get screened for the Zika virus. The mosquito-borne virus has recently been linked to an increase in birth defects. It causes babies to be born with seriously underdeveloped small heads and brains. The Zika virus is spreading in parts of Latin America and the Caribbean. Symptoms include of fever, rash, joint pain, and red eyes, but some 80% of infected people show no signs at all. There's no treatment for the virus, and health officials advise pregnant women to postpone travel to the infected areas. Coming up, we'll take a look at the top stories in the Cedar Valley.
What's next for your future?
Will it be worth it?
Will it lead you on a journey of discovery?
To embrace your passions
Unlock your potential?
and realize your purpose.
With Wartburg, you can.
And you will, because you are worth it.
Wartburg. Worth it.
Schedule your campus visit and learn how Wartburg is worth it at wartburg.edu/worthit.
Here's what's currently trending in the Cedar Valley. Wartburg College can expect a return of an annual favorite this spring. After last year's boycott of Wartburg's International Club executive team and more than half of the international students, the Culture Show is back on. Preparations for this year's show is already underway, and this year's theme is World Peace, and the iClub plans to include more than just the regular singing and dancing. Auditions will be on Saturday, February 6th from 2 to 5 p.m. in the Chapel Commons. The National Nurses Union is touring Iowa in support of Bernie Sanders. The Bernie bus kicked off the tour in Des Moines yesterday and will be in Cedar Falls on Octopus College Hill today at 3 in the afternoon. Former Republican vice presidential candidate and Alaska Governor Sarah Palin has announced her support behind Donald Trump. Palin made her speech yesterday in Ames, Iowa. Palin defended Trump's conservative values while making remarks against the Republican establishment for attacking their own frontrunner. Trump later posted on his Facebook page, "I am greatly honored to receive Sarah Palin's endorsement. She is a friend and a high-quality person whom I have great respect for. I am proud to have her support." Now let's take a look at today's weather.
A car gives you freedom. A new beginning. Room to grow. And in time, room to grow up. Your dream car evolves, and protecting it takes committed support. American Family Insurance.
You live in the fast lane. We get that. Nothing can slow you down, not even managing your finances. Stay on the move with Farmers State Bank's mobile app. Deposit checks and transfer money quickly and securely. Farmers State Bank. Ready for the app? Visit us online.
I'll just introduce and then we'll talk.
Okay, sounds good.
Joining us now is Greg Miller from Miller True Value to talk about tips for winterizing your home. Thank you for joining us this morning.
You bet.
So where can we get started? What should people know about winterizing their home?
Well, the first couple things is you want to make sure that you reduce any heat loss in your house by, plugging any holes or shutting doors, especially garage doors in the wintertime. And then another good thing to keep in mind is to be sure that your furnace is running at maximum capacity. So, checking the furnace filter or calling one of the local plumbers to have them, tune up your furnace to make sure it's running at the best capacity.
Great.
But some of the ways to reduce heat loss would be, this is a window insulating kit. You can put it on the inside or the outside of your house. This time of the year it works better on the inside. It tends to work better. So for older windows, that will reduce heat loss through them.
Mm-hmm.
If you have switches or outlets on your exterior walls, these are insulating covers for them to reduce any heat loss through those covers. If you have cracks or holes in your basement walls or foundation, the spray foam is a great idea for that. If you have doors or even smaller holes that you don't use a lot, you could use this seal and peel caulk that as you caulk it on there in the spring, when you want to use that again, you can just peel it right back off. It cleans up so you won't ever know it was there. Some people do use fireplaces in the wintertime. It's always a good idea to be sure to run a creosote log through them to sweep out any potential creosote still in the chimney.
Okay.
The last thing I brought was a door sweep. It can slide under any door, makes it fit a little tighter, also reduces any heat loss underneath that door.
Right, and so some people sometimes use towels, but you would suggest getting these?
Yeah, I mean, it works a lot more efficiently than a towel. A towel, you just have the protection on the inside. This has the protection on the inside and the outside, so it
Right.
kind of gives a double threat to that.
Great, and so for this is kind of the plastic stuff that people see on the
Exactly,
windows.
yeah.
All right.
And it peels off in the springtime, so you don't have to see it all spring, but it does create a good savings in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm. And I've actually seen people put them on their fireplaces. Do people do that as well?
Sure, you could put it on your fireplace if you tend not to use it.
Right, in the winter months. Okay, so for maybe new homeowners, what are some, besides these, some easy tips for them to?
New homeowners, other than these, if you have a new home, one of the things you have new homes are tighter, so they have less heat loss.
Mm-hmm.
So be sure that your doors are closed. If you want to pull your blinds at night, that helps keep the air in. Things like that to be sure to capitalize on whatever heat loss you might have.
Right, and so this is all kind of energy consumption as well.
Sure, yeah. The less your furnace has to run, the more efficient your home will be.
Great, well thank you so much for joining us
You bet.
this morning.
Thank you.
And coming up after the break, we look at a new archaeological find. Stay with us. Archaeologists have come across an interesting find in Honduras. From the air, it looks like an area of thick jungle, but is actually an ancient city that was asleep in the jungles for Honduras of hundreds of years. Honduran authorities, with help from international archaeologists, have now begun to remove parts of the so-called City of God monkey, or White City. Experts estimate that the uncovered material dates anywhere between the year 1000 and 1400. A vessel with handles in the shape of vulture heads and items with jaguar heads were taken from one of the first sites. Thank you for watching Cedar Valley Today. For more Cedar Valley Today content, you can download our app, and it's available on Google Play and now the iTunes Store. And make sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook. But before we go, we'll take another quick look at weather.